Did you have a Dear Diary? Like, where my 90s kids at? My 80s babies, 90s kids, 2000 teens. I didn't, but I thought it was super cool. I did have a neighbor who had one. I think it was a neighbor or a friend, whoever, who had one. And like you could Dear Diary and type all of your thoughts and have a passcode to it and all of that. If you saw my last video on my journal story, you'll know I'm paper and pen through and through. Even though I might, dabble with a little bit of putting some thoughts in my notes on my phone. But for the most part, I'm paper and pen. And so I know sometimes people will ask, and I've read in different forums about like, well, I don't journal because I don't want anybody to see my thoughts. And so I thought in this video, it'd be a good idea to just kind of share some ways to safeguard your thoughts by protecting your journal, whether you do paper and pen or if you decide to go digital. My name is Vanessa. I am the founder and journal advocate for Her Journal Lounge, and I'm so excited to be with you virtually today. So let's just dive right in. I have a couple of notes of just some ways to safeguard your thoughts because it can be anxiety driven to write down your thoughts and then be like, well, what if someone reads this? I remember a time in my relationship where I felt like I couldn't journal because I was afraid that my partner would read my journals and read my thoughts. And like I've shared in my story, like this is the safe space, right? This is the place to be able to be super vulnerable, be the most naked that any person, right, is like ever. And there was definitely a time period where I really was just like, oh my God, what if he reads it? What if he reads it? There was a lot going on. There was a lot going on in our relationship. There was a lot that I was really pouring out and learning about myself and exploring about myself that like, yeah, it's kind of like the memes that are just like, if I die, like, don't let anybody, the best friend got to get the cell phone because if you read what we wrote, right? And and sometimes it's not about like what we wrote about you. It's just the shit we be talking about, right? So like, it can become kind of anxiety driven, and that is the opposite of what your journal experience should be. And so I think if you just take some precautions, your journaling experience can be rewarding and fulfilling, full of truth and vulnerability without the fear, worry, or concern that someone is going to read your thoughts. And if they do, I will say this. One thing that helped me get over the hump was just like, hey, that's on you. And then if I find out that you read my personal thoughts and I did not give you permission, now you've broken trust. And that's a whole other different thing. And probably a whole other different YouTube to kind of delve into. Yeah, now we have to deal with broken trust. And that shouldn't break my trust with myself to be able to have this space that I've created for my own wellness journey that you invaded. So anyways, that's not the direction that we're going in this video. This video is really about what are the different ways? They're probably pretty obvious, but if you are new to journaling, so if you are more of an advanced journaler, you've been journaling all your life, or you're picking it back up, you may already know these things. For those who are very new, for those who are really concerned about like, what like I write down my thoughts, like what if someone can see it? This video is definitely for you. All right, let's dive in. Okay, first, let me go grab, I'll show you. So it's first things first, pretty simple. Just find a safe place. Like, we hide things from ourselves all the time. Sometimes not on purpose. But find that place. It could be, for me, it's my what is it called? My nightstand, right? Which might feel like a very obvious place for a journal to be. But it's no one really goes on my side of the bed. I'm not really too worried about it. Also, at this point, I'm comfortable with, like, if you choose to read my thoughts, that's on you. If your feelings get hurt, that's on you. Like, I've released that. So that's why for me, I'm a little more comfortable with just putting it in my nightstand. It's usually my most current one. It's ease, it's access, all of that. I'll be right back because I'm going to show you where I put all the rest of my journals. All right. So before we start boycotting Target, I bought this. Actually, did I get this at Target? It might have been Dollar Tree. I think it's Target, actually. No, this was Target. Anywho, there is no lock. So what I was going to suggest is getting a box of sorts that has a lock on it. Or if I wanted to, no, I couldn't. No, I couldn't do it with this one. Or get a some type of box where you could put a lock on it, or one that already comes with like a safe. So if you are really like, nah, I don't want anybody to read this, there are definitely larger size, smaller sizes, but this is where all of my, like, literally my history is outside of my most current, and it lives in what we call my space, my office space, the factory. And so it lives in one of the nooks that I have, and I have a couple of boxes that have different things in it. And so yeah, if you don't know which box, you'd really have to go through each box to get to this one. And so yeah, so that's one way that you can kind of safeguard, put it all in one place. Also, part of my thought process when I decided to do this wasn't even about, like, so no one can read it. It was really like, okay, if there was ever a fire, if I'm able to access the room, I can literally just grab all of my journals. They're just so important to me. Like, between photo albums and journals, like, those are the two things that, like, if I had to grab anything, like, I could replace my passport, I could replace my licenses, like, all of those things, like, I could replace, but, like, my pictures and my journals is what I would want to be able to, like, grab and go. And so that was actually the thought process of getting this, not even and then an organization piece, and then oh, okay, I guess, like, no one knows they're in here. So that's one way. So another thing is that if you are really concerned about people reading your journals, then I wouldn't overtly advertise that you journal. I wouldn't. I would journal in private. I would not journal in front of other people if you could avoid it. So for me, oftentimes I will journal in one of three places in my apartment. It's going to be in my bed, right here on this couch, usually on the floor, actually, and then in the factory. I would say almost 10 out of 10. So like 9.5 out of 10. I don't journal in front of my husband. He knows I'm an avid journaler, obviously. He knows what my business is about. So, like, he knows I journal. But oftentimes, I don't really journal in front of him, right? So, out of sight, out of mind, it's really, like, I find even with him, like, he knows that I do it. He knows I have a whole business around it. But could he say, like, oh, I see her journal? And could he say which one's my most current journal and which one I'm writing in right now and all this other stuff? I don't know. I don't think so. So that's another way that you can, kind of mitigate a little bit of people peeking into your journal if they don't know that you're journaling. I already mentioned the lock and the safe, so getting a safe where you can literally lock it up, very similar to the electronic Dear Diary that I was talking about. I, again, am a huge fan of paper and pen. However, if you are just like, I just can't. I can't write it. I cannot. It won't. I'm not going to buy a safe. Like, I just don't want to. Then going digital probably makes more sense for you. One, you could have, whether it's just having a lock on your phone or having a lock on that particular app. There are so many apps that are out there that you can use where you could I know with Samsung Galaxies in particular, there's the secure folder, so you can have your notes in that folder, which requires additional kind of like sign in access. And that could be a way for you to safeguard your notes if you're just like, my anxiety will not allow me to write this down on paper and have it on paper. So yes, even the paper and pen person, can be agreeable to digital. At the end of the day, I don't care how you get it out. I just want you to have the space and the tools to be able to get it out of your head. I did read this one on a blog, which I thought was kind of funny because they don't teach cursive in school. I think it was in their comment section of the blog, that someone said, well, I don't worry about my kids reading my journals because they didn't learn cursive in school and I write in cursive, and so they can't read what I wrote anyways. And I never really thought about that, but for those who can write in cursive, your pathway to safeguarding your thoughts might be just write in cursive, which is crazy to think. And maybe because I do know how to write in cursive, I'm also like, I didn't realize that people can't read in cursive. Like, is it really that hard? I mean, maybe. I do find like older letters, right? Like when you like see letters from like 1770, I do find it a little bit more like, oh my gosh, it's a little bit more challenging. So, I mean, I guess people can't read in cursive, but I thought that was a funny one that could be useful to somebody. And then this one, my good friend, she actually put me on, which again, as you can see, a hoarder of memories here. And like always flabbergasted whenever she brings it up, but she writes and burns her letters, her journals, like her entries. So it's not even like she doesn't have a dedicated notebook or journal per se, because she's like, yeah, I just grab a paper, I write out my thoughts, and then afterwards I burn them. That is definitely a surefire way. No pun intended, but like now that I said it, yes to the pun, to safeguard your thoughts, because if they're burnt, they cannot be read. So that might be an alternative, right? There is just something for me, and I think for many people, and I know that there's science behind this too, around when you write your thoughts out on paper, there is a release. There is like this like literal getting out of your head that occurs. And so, yeah, sometimes it's just that. And if that's your journaling experience, if that's what's bringing you wellness, yes, please, I am yelling at you. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. And I love it for her. And I think anyone who needs that to be able to, she's just like, I feel better. I release it and then I get to burn it. And if you're, I don't know, maybe a fire sign, she's not, but like if you're a fire sign, like you might even enjoy that even more, to play with fire. So burn up your thoughts. And so, yeah. And then the last thing I will say, it's not really, well, yes, it is a long-term plan for safeguarding your thoughts. And for me, it's have a plan. Have a plan for what, where, how, what will happen to your journals after you leave this earth. For me, I have a good friend. She knows what to do. She is the one that will collect all of my journals. This is probably also part of the reason why I have it all in one place, so she don't gotta be digging everywhere to figure out where all my journals are. But she knows who I want to, have those journals. It's her responsibility. Like, that's her job. I have another friend, like, she's got my social media. That's her job. Like, and yes, I will say I don't have this in a will yet, but it will be, right? Like, I will put this in a will so they know, like, this is who is responsible for X, Y, and Z in my journals, because they're so special to me. They have that play. They have that part in my, when I die, this is, if you outlive me, this is what I want you to do with it. If I currently don't have any children, and if I ever were to, particularly if I ever had a daughter, then yes, I would want my friend to make sure that she has these. I would love for my daughter to see and read and be confused, but also like wowed by, yeah, whatever this pile of thoughts. There's nuggets of wisdom in here. I know that there are. God has given me nuggets of wisdom in here. And so for me, I'm okay with that. I read on a blog, on a different blog, that she also has a friend who is responsible. It is in her will, who is responsible for her journals, and she doesn't want her children or anybody reading it. And so she is supposed. Her friend is to have a burning ceremony, which I'm sure that could also feel very special. Maybe for the friend, depending on how they. If they connected through journaling or not, or had a connection with journaling, to kind of have this kind of like ceremonial practice with, the journals. So make a plan. This is a little bit more of a long term how to safeguard your journals, but have a plan on what you want to happen for when you leave this earth, whenever that happens. So those are just some of I didn't count them out or anything like that, but those are just some very kind of easy, I think very attainable ways, and even some like creative ways to safeguard your thoughts as you journal, as you begin your journaling or continue or restart your journaling journey, because it can be super intimidating to kind of put yourself out there. Yes, you're doing it for yourself and to yourself, but then the potential of someone else reading it can be nerve-wracking if you're not comfortable with that yet. It is my hope that you get to the point where you are so what's the word? So confident in, I don't know that that's really the word that I want to use, but that's what's coming to mind. I was telling my mom, a little sidebar, I was telling my mom earlier, she was using some words, and I was like, Ma, it's Sunday, like, bring it down. Keep it simple. Like, but yeah, so that may be why words are not coming to me right now. But I do hope that you get to a point in your journaling that you can know that if someone else reads your thoughts, that's on them and not on you, and you should continue to be vulnerable with yourself. And maybe that was just the universe and divine intervention trying to bring to light something about the person who has invaded your privacy. So before I let you go, just a couple of things. You know what I'm about to say. Invest in yourself, sis. I need you to go ahead and click that subscribe little I got too excited. I want you to invest today, sis. I want you to do it right now. Click, click, click. Tap, tap, tap on that subscribe button. Yep, we're just going to keep that. We're not even going to edit. It is what it is. Subscribe to Invest in Yourself. Her Journal Lounge is here to be the space, the community, and the experience to help you on your wellness journey by way of journaling and other self-care practices. Comment. Let me know in the comments. How are you safeguarding your journals? Do you even care? Are you just like, you're like, this is why I do digital, this is why I don't do paper and pen, or like, hey, I'm paper and pen and I, put my journal in between the mattresses. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to maybe say exactly where, because I don't know, but whatever. Let me know in the comments. How are you safeguarding your journals and your thoughts while still getting them out of your head? And if you're feeling it, you've done some clicking around and you want to go ahead and also click on the like button, we'll take that too. But until next time, be well. I don't know. I need a new outro. Thanks for joining. Till next time. Peace.